What up? Welcome to my Terra, Herald of Hope deck profile. Something I cooked up over the past week after seeing the new Final Fantasy Commanders. And these characters peak. I think it's the only good pre-con commander, if I'm being honest. Or at least the only one that interested me, that's fine. If you want to play Cloud and go wide with a bunch of dudes, do that. So who is Terra? Terra's from Final Fantasy VI. I don't know, apparently. You can't tell with these showcase sets, but they look really nice. Also, let me just go boom, boom, boom. There we go. So Terra has Trance. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you mill 2, then she gains flying until end of turn, and whenever she deals combat damage to a player, you pay 2. When you do, you can return a creature with 3 or less power from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Now this card is very, very similar to another card in the exact same colors. It's right here, it's Alicia. But she brings back 2s and it's on attack, not on damage. But that shouldn't be a problem because you give Terra flying. So the entire deck is kind of just aristocrats in these colors. I forget the color combination name. I should look it up. I think it's Mardu. But whatever. I call it Hawk Girl Toys with people's lives because that's all it is. I'm just playing Terra, and then Terra's bringing people back, and I'm killing those people. And it's a whole thing. Either way, let's go to the artifacts. The deck is very creature based, and that'll be the big section. Artifacts are pretty basic though. We got Commander Sphere, because it's Commander Sphere. We got Arcane Signet, because it's Arcane Signet. Swiftfoot Boots is nice protection. Soul Ring is good ramp. Also automatically pays for your commander, which is nice. Panharmonicon, because there's a lot of ETB effects in the deck. And Lightning Greaves, same reason why you run Swiftfoot Boots, but better in this deck specifically. And Skull Clamp, because you kill a lot of things. Yeah. Okay, on to... Why does alphabet, please? Thank you. Alright, on to the creatures. And yeah, this is like the big part of the deck, obviously, because you're bringing creatures back. We got both Alicias, starting with the new one from Foundations. So whenever it attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it, and then at the beginning of your end step, if you attack this turn, return target creature card with mana value less than or equal to Alicia's power from your graveyard to the battlefield. So this brings back mana value 2 or less, which isn't great, but the curve's pretty low, so it's not too bad, especially if you get 1 or 2 1/1 counters on it, hitting people that haven't played anything. You got the other Alicia, who, whenever she attacks, you pay 2 white or black in any combination, and then return a creature card with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking. So this one comes in tapped and attacking, whereas Commander only comes in tapped, but it hits 3 instead of 2, so it lets you bring back Alicia, for example, and then you swing with both, and then you get 2 cards back for 4 mana, and it's good. It's a good time. We got Anafenza. This is in here because the deck is running an infinite. If you quickly saw, this is at power level 4. That's probably right. It's running an infinite, mainly with Murderous Redcap as the infinite card. Any card with Persist would work in some scenarios, but yeah, that's mainly it. So yeah, we're running Anafenza, part of an infinite with Murderous Redcap. Whenever another non-token creature you control enters, bolster 1. This is just also generically good. Like, whenever a creature enters, you put a 1/1 on anything with the lowest amount of toughness, which is still just good, but it is used in a combo as well. We got Blood Artist in here because just Blood Artist is a great value piece in every Aristocrats deck. Carrion Feeder is a sack outlet and being one of the better ones. Circuit Mender is a good value card to bring back and kill. Gain 2 life, draw a card as well, which is nice. DRC is in here because it's a modern staple, it's a cool card, and I think it's pretty easy to get Delirium in this deck, so it's an early play. It helps you put things into your trash, which is nice, and it can also just become like a 3/3 flyer, which is pretty good. You got Elisiel Core. When a creature enters, whenever a creature dies, stuff happens. Very good in Aristocrats. Same with Alenda. Whenever anything dies, put a 1/1. When she dies, you make X 1/1s. This can just win you the game if you have like a Blood Artist on board. You make Alenda really big by sacrificing all your things. You then kill your Alenda with a Viscera Seer, with a Carrion Feeder, with whatever. And then it just makes a bunch of other things back. And then you kill all those things and you just hit for a lot. Enduring Innocence is in here as a draw card. When power 2 or less enters, you draw a card. Triggers only once each turn. You also bring it back with your commander, which is nice. Fear of Missing Out is in here, kind of as a delirium card. Also, it's just a solid card. Discard a card, draw a card. If you're stuck on creatures in hand that you want to bring back with your commander, you can just discard them. Because playing the deck, I've noticed I discarded a lot of non-creatures because you're only running 30, which I think is still enough, but maybe you'd want to bump it up to like 35 or 40. Fury's in here as a reanimation target with your commander. It's a 5 mana 3/3. It also has the added benefit of if it's in your hand, you can always just evoke it, and then once it dies from the evoke, you can then go to combat, swing, and then it gets its ETB effect again. Very good. It only hits creatures or planeswalkers, but still, after that, it's a 3/3 double striker. Gev is in here also as part of the Murderous Redcap combo. Other creatures you control enter with 1/1 on them for each opponent who lost life this turn. And whenever you cast a Lizard spell, Gev deals damage to an opponent, which is irrelevant. It's only in here for creatures enter with 1/1s when an opponent loses health. Now, this isn't obviously only used for the combo, as Terra applies on attack or on damage. So it would come back and then Gev would see that you've already dealt damage, so it would still get a 1/1 counter. But it's mainly in here for a combo. Gary's in here because you can bring him back, and he's a very good card. Harmonic Prodigy. I mean, yeah, no, it's a really, really good way to drain and win games quickly. Harmonic Prodigy is in here, not because of the prowess, unsurprisingly, but because shamans or wizards control. Shaman and wizard triggers trigger an additional time. So this means the trigger of Terra entering combat milling 2, you mill 4 now, which is very, very good in the deck. Ingot Chewer's in here because you can evoke it and then bring it back. You can kill 2 artifacts. I do think evoke cards are very, very strong in this deck, especially ones that you can reanimate. Judas is in here, makes all your creatures +1/+0, which is nice because the deck goes wide very easily. And then whenever non-token creature you control dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. So similar to Blood Artist, but without gaining life. Karma Guide's in here. It can be brought back from your commander or from Alicia. I mean, most of the cards can be brought back from Alicia, but it's in here because when it enters, you bring a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Next turn, you don't pay the echo, it dies, you swing with your commander, you pay 2, you bring it back, you bring something else back, and then you just kind of go off. Good card. Lauren is in here mainly as artifact or enchantment removal. You can also tap it to make you and an opponent draw a card if you're maybe doing a little bit of politics. Yeah, this is the big bad in the deck. Murderous Redcap. When it enters, it deals damage equal to its power to any target, and it has Persist, which means if it died without any -1/-1 counters on it, it comes back with a -1/-1 counter. This is why I'm running Gev and Anafenza, because it'll come back, it'll get a +1/+1 counter from state-based effects of Gev and Anafenza, which negates the -1/-1. So with a free sack like Viscerous here or Carrion Feeder, it's just infinite sacrifices, infinite coming back with Persist, and infinite damage to any target. Ravenous Chupacabra, ETB kill something. 4 mana 2/2, not great. 2 mana 2/2 that does that though with your commander, pretty good. Seasoned Pyromancer's in here. When it enters, you discard 2. Typically, you're doing this to discard creatures from your hand, so you can play them with your commander. And then for each non-land card, discard this way, you make a 1/1, which is nice. You can also exile him to make 2 1/1s, but you can also just play him again, so that's probably better. Selfless Spirit is just sack. Creatures you control gain indestructible, and you can bring it back every turn when you attack, which is great. Shriekmaw is evoke. When it enters, destroy non-artifact, non-black creature, and it has fear. And you can also bring it back with your commander. So similar to Ingot Chewer, but for creatures instead. Solemn Simulacrum is a way to ramp, draw a card. It's good in aristocrat decks, although it is a little slow being a 4 mana 2/2. Solitude is in here, same reason why Fury is. You evoke it, you get a very, very strong effect. It dies, you swing with your commander, you pay 2, you bring it back, you get the effect again, and it's still just a 3/2 with lifelink, which is nice. And this ETB effect, obviously just being Swords of Plowshare, very, very strong. Tesla Karlov is nice because you're having a lot of death effects. I thought about maybe not playing it, just because I don't know if it was actually worth, and there's other cards you can play instead. But you can also just bring it back with your commander, so it's an active hit in the graveyard, which I noticed the deck was struggling with originally. Viscera Seer, free sack it, let's scry 1. Yawgmoth is probably the strongest black card in the game, don't at me. Actually, that's not true. It's probably Bolas the Citadel or one of the tutors. But I hate this card, and it's in the deck because it's pay 1 life, sack a creature, draw a card. You don't really care about the -1/-1. It's nice sometimes, and protection from humans is nice sometimes, but it's mainly pay a life, sack a creature, so it's essentially mana free, and then you draw a card. A wins in here. When it enters, exile target creature opponent controls with greater power, so this is removal. It's also a 3/4, which is nice, and you can draw it back from your commander. It also has the text legendary creatures you control gain protection from each of that creature's colors until end of turn, which is pretty relevant because you bring it back after you've dealt damage with your commander, so the protection from swinging doesn't matter. Yeah. Catharsis Crusade, onto the enchantments. When a creature enters, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. This is very, very strong. It also goes infinite with Red Cap. Goblin Bombardment is a sack outlet with, I don't know, I just wanted to play another sack outlet. Throw it in. This does let you also play a lot more creatures with Persist. Like that one black goblin, zombie goblin thing, which just has Persist. Because if you have any of the +1/+1 on enter effects, it does just go infinite and automatically win you the game. Onto the instants. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of removal. I've thought about actually, there was originally more removal. I cut some of it. I think there's still a lot. Anguish Unmaking, exile non-land permanent. Boros Charm. Typically you do this for permanents you control gain indestructible, but Double Strike's not horrible either. Dawn's Truce, gift a card, you and permanents are hexproof and indestructible, or without the gift, just hexproof, which is still very strong. Deadly Dispute is a sack outlet. You're playing Aristocrats, it's a good card. To Spark, exile a big permanent. Dire Tactics, exile a creature. If you don't control a human, your commander's a human, so you typically always have one. Even if you don't, you lose life equal to toughness, which is fine. Entomb will tutor any card to your grave for you, which if you're looking for that combo win with Red Cap or you want a specific card, it's great for that. Generous Gift is just permanent removal, mortify target creature enchantment, path to exile, exile a creature, swords, exile a creature. Tragic Slip, if a creature died this turn, which is very likely in a deck where you're playing a lot of sack outlets and killing things a lot, give something a -13/-13, which is essentially just removal. And then Village Rites, sack a creature, draw 2. I'll go over the land base later. Let's go to the sorceries before a few planeswalkers. Austere Command is a board wipe. It can also almost be a one-side board wipe because the Shroud creatures with mana value 4 or greater hits not a lot in your deck, so it's nice. Yeah, Blasphemous Act is Blasphemous Act, Blasphemous Edict is Blasphemous Edict. They're probably the two best board wipes in Rakdos. Buried Alive is in here, similar to Entomb. It just puts three creatures into your graveyard, which is nice. Dang is in here. I'm gonna call it Dang. Destroy a creature or Overlord to destroy all creatures. Demonic Councils, Delirium, tutor anything. If you don't have Delirium, you tutor a demon. So you only ever play this on Delirium. Faithless Looting lets you discard creatures from your hand into the grave. Toxic Deluge is premium black removal. Vandal Blast is destroy all artifacts. Yeah. I'm not running Farewell in the deck because I like having creatures in my grave and exiling all my creatures on board. Not great for rebuilding. On the Planeswalkers, Dihada. +2 to give a creature legendary lifelink or vigilance lifelink indestructible is really nice. You can also -3 to essentially mill 4 or put any legendary cards. But yeah, realistically, you do this, you mill 4 creatures or 4 non-legends, you make 4 treasures, and you set up your trash with more creatures to bring back. But yeah, you're mainly using it for the +2, -3. -11 to gain control of all non-land permanents until end of turn, untap them to gain haste. Could be like a weird win con in the deck, but I think it would be very rare to happen. Lily, whenever a creature you control draws a card, is mainly why it's being run. You can also make a zombie. You can have each player sacrifice 2 creatures, or each opponent choose a permanent and then sacks the rest, which pretty unrealistic. It's mainly here for the draw card. And then Eternal Wanderer, probably my favorite planeswalker to play. It's so versatile. You can exile an artifact or creature, and then return to the battlefield under someone's control at the beginning of their next end step. So let's say you keep exiling a commander, and your opponent doesn't want to put them in the command zone. You can just like keep them in lockdown forever. It can also make a 2/2 white samurai, and just ETB. Each player sacrifices all creatures they control, besides the one that you choose for each player. So yeah, no, it's like an extremely strong board wipe. It's also a good removals, and it can make creatures. All for 6 mana, which is a little expensive, but that's fine. Also, it can only be attacked by 1 creature each turn, which is sick. Onto the lands. This is a premium land base. I mean, this is high power, so I'm like, I'll put in the lands. Realistically, I mean, you see here, price of the lands is $198. The price of the deck is $375, and that's actually without doing this. Let me just quickly. Boom! We just saved even more money. If only it was that easy. $175, and so the deck without the lands is like $150. Just proxy your lands. And if people are against you proxying lands, I don't know, just tell them that like it literally doesn't matter. You're just making the game more consistent for you to play, unless you're proxying like, I don't know, Glacial Chasm or Tabernacle. If you're proxying like, you know, fetch lands and shock lands and like the Triome and like surveil lands, yeah, whatever. Alright, on the Maybeboard. Because yeah, this is just a good land base. On the Maybeboard, we got, these are just themes. These isn't like specific cards. They probably go in the deck. They were originally in the deck, but they're also just themes of cards that you can add. So Aurelia, whenever it attacks for the first time each turn, untap all creatures. There's an additional combat phase. You can play extra combats if you want to, and then have your commander pay 2 whenever it attacks each combat. It also gets the mill at the start of each new combat. So yeah, any like extra turn or extra combat card's pretty good. I mean, I'm running one of them, right? I'm running Fear of Missing Out. Elspeth Sun's Champion. This can board wipe creatures power 4 greater, which hits pretty much everything that's not your board. It can also make 3/1/1s or make it so creatures get +2/+2 in flying, which is nice. I just didn't really see a fit for this card in the deck, and I thought there was enough removal, and I don't think I wanted to go that much into token generation, although maybe I would still play it. Flowering of the White Tree, legendaries get +2/+1, have ward 1, non-legendaries get +1/+1. You typically go wide with the deck. If you wanted to spec the deck into going wide more, you could play a lot more Anthem type effects. I just didn't want to. Yeah, like there are creatures that say when they enter make a bunch of tokens. This would be great with that. I believe there's a goblin that makes like 3/1/1s on ETB that you can hit with your commander. Lizard Blades, anything that gives double strike to your commander, because your commander says whenever it deals combat damage. So you'd be dealing 2 instances of combat damage, would let you pay 2 twice. So yeah, anything with double strike, similar to extra combats, it gives you more opportunity to bring things back with your commander. Puppeteer Clique, and realistically any persist creature with a lower power that can be brought back. This one I actually originally had in the deck because I thought stealing everything and then playing it all and trying to kill people would be cool. But it's only from graveyards. Yeah, I don't think so. It's a cool card and you can brought back with your commander too, but whatever. Spirit of Companion, ETB draw a card. Any card that says ETB draw a card, ETB do something really powerful that has power 3 or less, good card. I just didn't think I needed enough. I needed more draw in the deck. And then the Wanderer, just like -2 exile creature with power 4 or greater. I don't know, just play more removal. Removal's the best thing you can play in Commander. Also, if you want to look at Rex for this deck and you're like, how do I want to build this deck? Honestly, just go look at Alicia. Go to edhreg.com. Go to your local game store where your Alicia Who Smiles at Death player is, and then just ask them for a deck profile, and ask them what they would play. Or go to Scryfall and then Commander Colors, Oracle Text, enters power greater than or less than or equal to 3. All good options. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Obviously, no Rex here. I'll be back next week with probably not a Final Fantasy Commander, but maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Goodbye. Thank you for watching.